And that's what we're going to get into right now is some guys that you can add on the waiver wire. I said I had like 2.5 before we started recording here. I'm just going to say, because, you might have to get to him kind of quick. Tonight, I'll start by saying this. Earlier this week, Miami lost Starling Marte. With Starling Marte, they're not a good hitting lineup. Without Starling Marte, they're going to be an even worse hitting lineup. So for the next 5 to 7 days, that's the minimum amount of time that Marte is going to be out. You should be streaming every pitcher you can against the Marlins. And tonight they get Aaron Sanchez. He's not a great pitcher.
He's been okay so far.
He's been okay so far, and he gets an easy task at 9:45 p.m. tonight. So if you're listening and you need a pitcher right now for tonight to win some categories like I do, I added him about 30 minutes ago. He's still available in a lot of leagues, so go do that one right now. Now I'm going to have 2 more. Steve's going to have 2, and we'll get out of here. Steve, kick off the final segment here.
So my first pickup of the week, I wrote about this earlier today. It's Yandy Duffy of the Kansas City Royals. And I know you said Yandy Duffy's burned you way too many times in the past to trust him. But here's the thing. Yandy Duffy's free right now. He's owned in less than half of ESPN leagues, and his stats this year have been remarkable. He's got a .5 ERA, a 1.1 WHIP. He struck out 19 batters in 21 innings. I think he's got 3 quality starts. He's got a 2-start week next week. So this is why I'm going to pick up Yandy Duffy, because hopefully next week he turns into my sell high. 2-start week next week. You got a guy who's got good stats, right? You get 2 starts. He plays the Tigers, and I believe it's the Twins. The Twins have a pretty good offense. The Tigers' offense hasn't been great, but you never know what could happen. First off, a 2-start week. We love 2-start weeks in fantasy baseball. It's always a blessing to have guys, who can give you a starting pitcher, give you almost 12+ innings in a week. But if he does well in both those starts, you can get trade value for this guy. He's been a guy who's been, in and out of the waiver wire for the past, I think, 5-6 years in fantasy baseball.
Minimum.
And the thing with exactly. And the thing with Yandy Duffy is to get him when he's hot and get rid of him when he's cold. And right now, Yandy Duffy's pitching some of the best he's pitched in his career. He's not owned in half of ESPN leagues. I don't know what people are doing. I don't know. They look at the stats. Pick him up. Yeah. He gets you 2 good outings next week. You're going to get a lot more for him, because next thing you know, he's going to be rated as like a top 15 starting pitcher, even though he's not that type of talent.
No, but that's how quickly things change in in baseball rankings. Those are never reflective of how valuable they actually are on the field. And so, the Yandy Duffy call is fantastic. This might be the only time that there's a window where you can get him and sell on him. Like sometimes it happens 3 times in 1 year. Sometimes it only happens once. So especially with the 2-start week, 1 against Detroit, that's a great call. It really is. And
that's the thing too. I was shocked Yandy Duffy was less than 50%. His ownership will probably go up 25% on Monday before the Detroit start, because everyone will see, he's pitching against the Tigers. He's been good so far this year. I want to stream that. Yeah. Get ahead of the curve. Pick him up, have him sit on your bench for, a few days of the weekend, and next thing you know, you got him against the Tigers before everyone else.
Yep. And my guy, again, is similar to that, based on potential, not what we know him for doing. Granted, you should know Avisail Garcia as someone who can produce. It's just 2 years ago he hit 20 home runs and had 10 stolen bases. Yeah. So you could get him. It's really difficult to get someone capable of getting 20 and 10 on the free agent this late into the season. Right. And right now he's about to walk into a position where he's going to have even more opportunity with Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich out for a little bit. And his batting average is, I think, around 222 or something of that nature. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's lower.
It is lower, but he does have a hit in like the last 8 games or so. He is on a bit of a tear, and his hard hit rate is in the high 50s. His expected on base percentage is .456. And it's down in the low 300s right now. So the underlying numbers say that Avisail Garcia, with the new expanded role that he's about to walk into, should be able to capitalize and give you better than what he's done so far. And we know that there is the power and the talent there. The batting average might not be great, but if you need home runs, you need doubles, he's a guy, and stolen bases, obviously, he's a guy that can help get you there in those categories, especially with so many injuries right now. it's good to take a flyer on guys like this who have a proven track record of success in the MLB. And he does already have 4 home runs on the year, so it's not like he's done nothing,
I like that pickup too because the Brewers' offense is starting to produce runs. They're getting a little better, and I love Christian Yelich to death, but he can never stay on the field. He really can't. Lorenzo Cain, same issue. Yeah. The Brewers have a lot of good players. They just can't stay healthy. Avisail Garcia, he's going to have a spot in that lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I got him in a Jose Altuve trade, and it was outstanding, the return. I can't remember I got him in a pitcher for Jose Altuve. And it was by far one of the best fantasy baseball trades I've ever made in my life. I do have a soft spot for Garcia, so it was only a matter of time until I brought him up on. Who is your last free agent ad for week 3?
So my last one's kind of a boring one because I think people are going to look at the ceiling and be like, he's not worth it. But right now, the 4th rated first baseman in ESPN leagues is Colin Moran of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, man.
He's batting. I know. Yeah. That's how bad first baseman's been. He's batting, I believe it's 298. He's got 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, 8 runs. The Pirates' offense has been better than expected this year.
Better than expected, yes.
And he's batting cleanup. I mean, he's going to get you a lot of at-bats. He's playing every day for this team, and he's got 25, 30 home run power potential. And if you don't remember, a couple of years ago, there was another first baseman power hitter for the Pirates that was a free agent pickup right around this time, Josh Bell, who actually, made an all-star appearance because of a hot start. If Colin Moran can just, keep the power going, he can help you in the short term. And like I said, it's a free agent pickup. There's no risk involved with this. If you have a first baseman who's struggling, which I know a lot of owners do because Colin Moran's the 4th ranked one, pick up Colin Moran, plug him in while he's hot, see if he can keep giving you, some power throughout the next coming weeks, and wait for your other first baseman to pick it up. It's not going to hurt you to have Colin Moran in your lineup.
Yeah, that when I think I had Josh Bell that year, and I actually I drafted him because my league is that deep. Like, oh my God, the way we do our draft is we draft, we fill out the starting lineups and then we draft the reserves, and so he was one of my reserve picks that year, and he ended up almost winning me the league. I lost first round in typical Wake fashion, but
I think it was 2 years ago, Josh Bell finished the number 3 first baseman. He was incredible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. No one heard of him before that. Colin Moran is a guy he's going to play every day. He has that 30 home run potential. There's no risk to pick him up. If you have a first baseman who's struggling, there is 0 risk to pick up Colin Moran and just plug him in for now. It might be boring. He's not a top prospect. He's not a guy people are sprinting to the waiver wire to get. But he's a guy you can plug in, and he's effective. And I will say, Colin Moran does have a little, soft spot in my heart because I went to a Pirates game, and before the game, we're all pre-gaming, we're all drinking, and we're all picking who we think's going to, have the best game. And I just threw out Colin Moran. No one's heard of him. I go, Colin Moran's going to have a great game. He's going to hit 2 home runs. And we're all laughing about that. We get to the stadium. He's not even in the starting lineup, not even playing. So I'm getting made fun of the whole game. What do you know? 8th inning, Colin Moran comes into pinch hit with the bases loaded and hits a grand slam.
Wow.
I'll never forget that.
That's incredible. That's really – I come from a Pittsburgh sports family, and living in Buffalo, I was raised a Bills fan and a Sabres fan, and that's how I've always – but, I've been to a bunch of Pirates games, and I do have to say I do have some good memories of Colin Moran there too myself. So I do like that call, and I'm sure if my dad listens back to this, I'm sure he'll be happy that you brought him up too. So Harry, how you doing? I'll get out of here with my last free agent. And now this is a deep, deep, deep cut.
Okay.
But he's starting to get a bigger role with Tampa Bay. In the last 6-7 games or so, he's been in the leadoff role and he's been in the cleanup role. He's got a ridiculously high on base percentage at 400, and he has more walks than strikeouts, which is something that's really, really rare in baseball in general. And it's important too. And it's important too. It's Yandy Diaz. He's a first base and third baseman. So in a year, when first base has been such a wasteland, Like, what's the worst you can do than bring in someone who's a steady, like 250 hitter who gets a lot of walks? Like at the very least, he's safe, and his role is only going to expand in Tampa Bay. And honestly, I think that the 250 for his batting average, that's the floor right now. He's not getting any elevation on his hits is something. And that's the thing. If he can start getting less singles and getting the ball into the outfield a little bit more, I know that's something they've been working on in practice, and that's something that the coaches and the managers have been saying about Yandy Diaz that he needs to work on. If he does that, he could be one of the free agent finds of the year. He's already a top 200 fantasy baseball player, and that's with how many singles does he have right now? He has 14 hits, and 2 of them are doubles, and that's it.
Well, that's the thing with Yandy Diaz, and I love that pick because Yandy Diaz, he came on my radar a couple of years ago because he hits the ball so hard. But he had the early, career Christian Yelich problem, the Vlad Guerrero the past couple of years. He just hits the ball into the ground. Yes. His ground ball rate has been so high his career, but he hits the ball so hard, and if he could just tweak the elevations just a little bit, he's going to start hitting a ton of extra base hits because he's a great hitter. He makes great contact. Just hits the ball into the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to find a contact hitter who has that much power behind it.
Exactly.
And you said it. This is a problem that's easily fixed. Between Guerrero and Yelich, there's evidence of that. So Yandy Diaz is like, it just seems he's 4% owned on Yahoo, and he's taken in my league.
Oh no!
So, I figured this out. I was like, wow, this is a great pickup. And I'm like, wow, fuck you, Bump. Thanks for taking my guy. Like, it was terrible. But you know what? When he eventually drops him, I'm going to be right there to take him. I have him on my watch list, and everyone here should too.